What's up, everyone? Wayne here from the Bow Hunter's Journal. And I want to take a couple of minutes just to go over my food plot plans that I was talking about, I don't know, a few episodes ago in my habitat improvement plan episode. Right now I'm standing at the 20-yard spot in my archery range. I don't know if you can see, just to give everybody an orientation, that's my stand back there. I'm about 50 yards from that stand. What I'm gonna do is, you see the line I'm starting to put in here? This line is gonna travel all the way back, basically somewhere around my stand area there. Everything to this side of the line in the archery range is gonna be orchard that I'm gonna extend. I'm gonna pan around all the way here. That's my house. That's my garden there. I'm starting to put the orchard in here. You can see some of the trees already. I guess I should probably pan around this way. The compost bin, that's my property line right there. And I'm gonna fill this all in here with fruit trees. This is gonna stay the archery range here. Now everything from here, as much as I can clear out sun and plant, gonna all be food plot. Right now my initial plan is it's gonna be somewhere around a 25 by 30 yard plot. So let's start at the beginning here. This is my grass line here. Now, I like my lawn, so I'm not gonna mess with that. But this first 10 yards or so, I'm gonna clear out some of these smaller trees, not that big one, some of the smaller ones. And this is going to be all wildflower. So I'm going to pick up a bunch of wildflower mixes, a bunch of perennial bulbs, things to create a barrier between my lawn and the food plot. Pull in beneficial insects. Hopefully the deer won't eat all of them. That's my hopes. Then starting probably right around here is where the food plot is going to begin. And I'm going to basically cut out some of these smaller trees, all these little, I refer to them as scrub oaks, but really there is a species called scrub oak, and that's not it. They're just small oak trees, ones that haven't gotten really established. I have some really big ones. That's a big oak tree right there. That's a big one there. This one over here is a very big one. Probably take two people to put your hands around that. So all around that, I'm going to clear out all these smaller, lower canopy trees, which is going to open up this area here and let the sun come in. That's east. So this that's southeast, I should say. So the sun will come across the sky here. I'm going to clear out some of these closer ones to open up the area. It'll come straight across and give me good sun. You know, aside from a couple little blockages like this cedar tree here that my wife really likes, so it isn't going anywhere. This is all going to be food plot. I'm going to plant as much perennial as possible. I'm going to do an episode. This video will probably come out about a week before the food plot episode comes out. So we'll go over all that stuff then. But this is going to be a mix of a lot of perennial, a bunch of annual for overseeding, clover, some alfalfa, soy, a lot of different things that like I said, I'll break down in the episode. And my plan is to make this food plot here, create this line right here, that right now I've just been moving barberries that are kind of in the middle of the food plot, like that one. Just been pulling it out of the ground, coming over here and putting it in this line to create a kind of like a hedgerow. It'll be barberry on the north side, and I'm going to move a bunch of wild raspberry, anything that I find, which raspberry grows like crazy and it multiplies like crazy, and it seems to grow right where the barberry grows. So the two of them like whatever is going on in that soil, they both like it. So I figured I'll exploit that. I'll put a row of both, which should create a nice long, hopefully a nice thick hedgerow over time to draw the deer and push them to the back of the food plot where they can enter in back here. Which now you're in within 30 yards of my stand the way it is now, 25 yards in most cases. And it's not going to be a big hedgerow, so if they needed to get out, they can either go right through it or over it. It's not going to be a problem, but if they're not spooked, they'll take that path of least resistance, which should hopefully push them right to the back. This area right now, which kind of looks lawn, you know, it's starting to get some grass. A lot of it is wild grass, some of it is grass I created. Or planted I should say, lawn I created. I'm gonna leave that the way it is right here, just to give a nice clean area to walk and retrieve arrows, things like that. And then, like I said, I'm gonna put a row of fruit trees along the north side of the property to be that lower canopy layer back against this thick wooded area. A little permaculture type stuff. I do plan on putting in, you know, as much natural junk as I can over here. So things like raspberry bushes to be that shrub layer, vines, maybe some grapevines, things like that. I don't know if they'll be organized, if I'll actually put posts and line in, or if I'll just you know, plant them or propagate some that's already existing around here and keep them trimmed so they'll put out some grapes. I haven't decided on that stuff yet. I'm not that far into the design yet. This part I'm sure about. So let's go take it from a different angle. Let's go to the back of the plot. See, can I get him? It's so funny the way these deer are. So I just walked to the back of the property, and sure enough, the deer were out right there. So it's a good place to start. This is the northeast corner of the property. Right now I'm looking north, and all in there, going around this heavy cover of barberry in there. See if I can zoom in a little bit. The deer walk around that and they bed back there. Probably about 150 yards. And they were up, what's it, about 12:30 now on a Sunday. You know, so they were up grabbing a little bite to eat. See if I can capture them. I still see them in there. Can't focus them in, but they were up getting their afternoon lunch, which plays right into my plans here. So let's pan around. That line of brush you see going along right there, where is it? That's my property line. That's my property line. That's my house. There goes the grassy area. There goes the wall of barberry that right now I'm arranging with some old logs, some stuff to decompose, fertilize the area there. Here is my stand. I'll show you just a ladder right there. So this, I'm looking into the back of the food plot, the northeast corner of the food plot. What I'm hoping is that the deer are going to come straight through here, where they just were. My neighbor went and cleared out a little walking path for herself, so they'll jump right on that path, come straight through here, cross the property line. I purposely left it open right there. Come right down this little path that we're looking at. You can see the turkey been scratching around. Walk right into the back of the food plot, which is gonna come right around that oak tree and into the walking path here a little bit. They'll do that. They'll come out in the evening. They'll come in through my neighbor's grass here into the food plot in the morning. which will give me a great opportunity for when they're done eating, because the wind is perfect back here. When they're done eating, they'll just walk straight through, cut across the property line here, which gives me about a 10-yard shot. So that's my evil plans. This will all be, let's see if I can find out, that's the hedge line there. So all through there, I'm going to clear out as much of these little trees as possible. I'm going to leave this back area here as thick as I can. So all those small saplings you see coming up and young trees, those are all going to stay because I want it to get real thick. I want some cover, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then it opens up over here. That's where I think most of my opportunities are going to be. And by taking out some of those smaller trees along the line there, that'll get me some, it gets some morning sun back here naturally. That'll get me a lot of midday and afternoon sun, which should be plenty. It's not ideal, we'd rather want morning sun, but I'll take it. Let me look this way for a minute. So that little roof is kind of, sometimes I'll come and sit back here. I'll put a tree seat there. If I don't feel like getting up in the stand, I'll just sit there, and I can overlook this ledge. So let me get a better angle on the ledge. So on my property, the deer are going to come one of two ways. They're either going to come across the top, right into the back of the food plot there, or they're going to come through. You see that lawn there? Let me see if you can see the other one. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a house over there. They'll come in between those two houses through this wood lot, and they'll stay low. This is a pretty steep drop off for me. It's about 40 yards to the bottom of that, with a chunk of water at the bottom. So they'll come low. They'll sometimes bed in all that thick cover down there, which gets a lot thicker in the summer. They'll come in, they'll drink out of this pond here, and they'll mosey their way, and they could bypass the food plot altogether. And the bucks do that a lot more than the doe. The doe will generally come up top. The bucks tend to stay at the bottom unless it's rut time. Then they'll come up to be with the doe. So I'm also going to exploit that a bit. So you see all those barberry bushes there. It doesn't look that thick now because it's only April 1st, but that gets a little thicker than it is now. In between there, all along, I'm just going to rake those leaves away and throw some seed down of whatever type of mix I'm using. Up here, I'm just going to save a little bit and put it right along that water's edge. And that should keep it nice and moist, so it shouldn't need too much maintenance by me. That's the property line there, that wood line. So this whole area here is me. So I'm going to plant the lower food plot too. The sun isn't too great down there, but I'm thinking with the opening at the lake, I might be able to pull it off without cutting any trees, because most of the trees that'll be in my way down there are not mine, so I can't take them out. But I'll exploit as much of that as I can. This way I got two options. Either they're going to come up top, hit this top food plot, or they'll stay low, hit that lower food plot. Either way I can generate a lot of opportunity. If they hit the lower food plot, you can see I have all this deadfall here from that harsh winter that we not the harsh winter. We had a major snowstorm here in October 30th. That's Halloween, or the day before Halloween, with a lot of, I think we got a foot of snow in my area, and it wrecked canopies, knocked off a lot of these big branches. They're all over the place. So I've been slowly piling them up and building a cover area there, so I can get right up against those rocks, tuck in, and that's a 15-yard shot down to that bottom area, and it's a major pinch point, and they walk it all the time. There is a third option that they take. It's a little hard to see from this angle, but they do walk the side of the hill here. You know, steep angle if you're walking up and down, but if you're cutting it, it's not a big deal. They'll do that, which my stand is in a good spot for that. So multiple opportunities, multiple smaller food plots. That's my plan for my house. And the same plan can apply to really any woodland food plot you wanted to do. And until next time, it's been Wayne from the Bow Hunter's Journal. I'll see you soon.